I heard you found a body, Neith asked, walking into Darium's chancery, and I looked up from where I sat, nodding my head to her pending question. One of the guards at the gate of the kingdom was found dead in the woods early this morning. I answered, and she gasped. The heavens, poor soul. Her eyes showed pity and sadness. What could have brought about his end? We are still not sure. Luca thinks he might have been poisoned. I answered while Darium just sat there with a drink in his hand and his thinking face on. That's just sad. She mutters just as Nico and Zane walk in, and I stare behind them, waiting for Kaylin to walk in as well, but no one enters after them, with Zane closing the door behind them. What happened? Why are you alone? Where is Kaylin? I questioned. Kaylin, Neith asked with a look of surprise on her face. Isn't that the guard Darium had ordered to protect you, but failed miserable at his job and didn't have the courage to accept his lack of incompetence, instead decided to quit? She said it in one breath. He wasn't incompetent, Neith. I corrected. The incident that happened wasn't his fault, and yes, that was Kaylin. Yes, sure. She said, no doubt waving it off. Why are you looking for him, and what does he have to do with all this? I sighed before filling her up with everything that happened a few nights ago until now. So you didn't find him? She asked, directing the question to Zane and Nico and getting a headshake from them. What happened? Darium finally spoke, his left brow raised. He wasn't at his post or the guard quarter. Zane answered. A fellow guard who shared a shift with him had told us he hadn't seen him since a week ago when he came into the palace. That means I was the last person to see him. We can't be certain, we don't know where he went after leaving the palace. Nico says. More like ran off. I corrected. He seemed frightened. He didn't say anything more, did he? Neith asked, and I shook my head. She tilted her head like she was deep in thought. What if he was the one who killed the guard? I don't think so, Neith. I immediately countered. Colleen isn't like that. The short time that I knew him, he wasn't one to commit such atrocities. You thought the same about Kiva and what happened? She responded with an apprehensive look. Neith. Darium called out in a reprimanding tone. What? She shrugs. I'm just stating the truth. You can't keep shielding her and making her believe in those crazy fantasies that the world is all rainbows and sunshine, filled with good loving people. Her gaze was hard when she stared at me. I care for you, Letitia, but you need to wake up, you are the queen of this kingdom. Being gullible doesn't excuse your ignorance. Stop the trusting bullcrap, dear. You wishing the best for people doesn't mean they wish the same for you, just like your sister. You so much trust that she has changed. Have you ever thought that she might be putting on a facade to deceive you? Why don't you wisen up and see what's right in front of you? One more Nethotep, and you are out of here. Darium's voice was low and threatening. I think that's enough, Neith. Nico says as well, giving her a scolding look as she rolls her eyes. No, she is right. I instantly said, even though her words cut deep into my heart. I admit that I'm a bit trusting with people, and maybe they don't wish the best for me, but I can't let their negative ways change who I am. I stated, staring at her. This has always been me. You can deem it a weakness or whatever you think it is, but to me, it's a strength. I don't think trying to see the good in people makes me weak, that is what helps me rule the people along with Darium because of the hope for the good in them. Neith's eyes soften, a guilty look is shown in them, and she takes a deep breath before speaking. I'm sorry for my outburst. She apologized. I didn't mean to lash out at you. I have just been so stressed out by the ordeal of the palace and the never-ending dilemma. I wish for things to be back as they were before all these deaths and betrayals. It might not have been rosy and sunny, but it was a lot better than this. King Orin won't have dared to pick a war with us. I don't know what card he is hiding to make him so arrogant and fearless, but I just wish for it all to end. I feel the same as well. I agreed with her. The Hyatia has always been a peaceful kingdom with all other kingdoms and hardly picked a fight unless necessary and for a good cause. But after the late king passed away and Orin took over, everything went sideways. I just want this to end. put Oren in his place and return the kingdom to Alvar. It's easier said than done, Letitia. Darium says. Because of the late king's benevolence, other kingdoms wish not to harm Hayatia despite Oren's lack of leadership. So we aren't going to do anything? I asked. I never said that. He groans out. If we truly want to take him out, we need a plan, a foolproof plan, and also to know who is backing him up. It was quite for a while as we all pondered Darium's word, trying to look for a way we could overcome this and end this once and for all. Then a thought struck my mind, and my eyes widened as I blurted out my thought. It's Darium's birthday in a few days. They all turned to look at me, a confused look on their faces as they watched the smile grow on my face. It's Darium's birthday, I said again, waiting for them to grasp what I was saying, but they all stared at me with a look that said they didn't understand where I was getting at. I'm sure everyone is aware of that fact, Letitia. Darium says. In fact, I think the whole kingdom is aware of that fact. So how exactly does my birthday help? Your birthday means celebration, and doing so means you have to invite certain people. I clarify. We keep on wondering what King Oren's plan is, so why don't we invite him over and then find out ourselves? I mean, with him here, we can get a chance to find out what he is up to, and then we can come up with a concrete plan. And risk putting you in danger? Absolutely not. That seems like a wise idea. It sounds promising. I don't know about this, Letitia. Darium spat out, opposing the idea, as Neith, Zane, and Nico both voiced their opinions. My gaze shifted to Darium to see he was fuming with anger and his hand clenched in a fist. It's going to take a whole lot of words to convince him, and I could only hope he would comply with the plan because that was the only choice we had. I think this party would be of help to us, I said. Inviting other royal families might help us get an insight into what we might have missed. There are no doubt other kingdoms that might be keeping watchful eyes on Hayatia and King Oren. With how rampant and unpredictable he is, I'm sure some of the royals are on edge in case he might pick a war on them, which might cause them to spy on Hayatia. By having more information than we do, we can get rid of every one of his supporters along with him once and for all. This way, we can finally put an end to it. I tried to reason, but I was not sure if they understood what I said. Darium pinched the roof of his nose. His eyes closed shut like he was deep in thought, probably thinking if it was a good idea, but that was the only solution I could think of. We need to know what our enemy is thinking. So why not bring him out of his shell and into our den and try to figure out his next move? Any other ideas, one that doesn't involve bringing Oren into the palace? Darium asked. I can't come up with anything more logical than what Letitia just said, Nico said. Right now we haven't gotten anywhere, except for the strange sighting of a woman walking into the palace of Hayatia. Zane's men haven't managed to get any concrete information about what he might be up to. I agree with Letitia and Nico. Neith says, letting King Oren into the palace can be beneficial for us, that way we can find out if Tegan is truly behind all this, and if Darium is right, then we would know. She made a dramatic pause before continuing. This might also give us the chance to find out if this mysterious woman is truly Kiva, or if this is a freaking game being played by someone in the palace. There had been news from our men watching Hayatia about a sighting of a mysterious woman making her way into the palace. We had no idea what she looked like, so we settled on our assumption of it being either Tegan or Kiva. We all think this is a perfect plan, even Zane isn't saying anything to oppose it, I add, and Zane nods in agreement. Besides, I'm not passing on the opportunity to celebrate your birthday. This is the first time celebrating your birthday since we got together, and I will be damned if I don't make it the best day for you. I don't want to put you and the twins in danger, Darium says with a sigh. She won't be in danger, we will all keep watchful eyes on her through the night. Nothing is going to happen. Besides, King Oren would be foolish to try anything at the palace, now with the heightened security. Neith stated. Who knows, this might work, and we can finally put an end to this and King Oren for good, I said as the spark of hope ignited in me. I'm sick and tired of having to worry about him. And what his big plan is when we all should be living our lives. True. Neith and Zane spoke in unison before Neith spoke again. I see no reason why you should oppose this plan, Darium. If you want to keep Letitia and the twins safe, then this is a great way to do it. Invite him over to the palace for your birthday celebration and strike before he does. I looked at Darium. We need him here, in our territory. I'm sick and tired of having to worry about the likes of King Orin and his cohorts. Let's end it here and finally move on with our lives, with everyone going back to their rightful places, which includes Alvar taking back what was his. Darium made a face. Fine, but if he does accept the invitation and does come, I don't want you left alone by yourself. Stick around with us, and if we aren't there, stay close to Neith. I will, I promise, I said, giving him a smile. Darium groaned. I can't believe I'm actually letting that bastard into my palace again. I will go check on the security with the guards, Nico said, excusing himself as he left the room with Neith. I better go check if there is any news from my men, Zane adds, walking out of the room as well, leaving only Darium and me. The latter let out a sigh, his finger curled up in a fist, and I got up from my seat, making my way to him. His head shoots up when I stand in front of him, and he sighs again before wrapping his arms around me and bringing me down on his lap. His head rested on the nape of my neck, and I felt him take a slow, steady breath before he began to clearly relax. I wrapped my hand around his neck, causing him to move his head from mine to look at me. It's all going to be okay, I whispered gently, leaning down to peck his lips. I hope so too. He says this while cupping my cheeks in his palms. His eyes moved from my lips to my eyes, then back to my lips before closing the gap between us, and our lips connected. I felt my insides jolt when delicious sparks shook my system like never before, igniting in the middle of my chest, awakening every cell in my body, and removing from my mind anything that's not related to Darium. I subconsciously gripped onto his shoulders, relishing the feeling of his lips pressing against mine, and I was trying to commit every fraction of that experience into my memory. His proximity. His taste. The way his arms held me in place firmly, but without much force. We both pulled away for breath, and my eyes snapped open, inhaling sharply. My eyes shifted to Darium, and I saw the series of emotions in his eyes: love, admiration, and desire. His arms circled around me as he pulled me closer, and the moment my body slammed against his, he leaned in for another kiss. This kiss had more urgency in it, with both of us showing how much we wanted each other. The afternoon passed quickly with preparations for the upcoming party. Everyone helped, and the palace was buzzing with activity. Zakkai and Katrona were busy in the garden. They also had a few additional servants to help where needed. The food preparations were handled by the cooks like always, and the main activity revolved around setting up the event hall and the garden with tables, chairs, and decorations. The guests were supposed to arrive at 5 in the evening. When I noticed that it was about an hour before the party started, I thanked Zakkai and Katrona for their help and told them to go and get ready. The rest will be done by the maids. I stared unblinkingly at the array of accessories and other beauty essentials on the dressing table and mused. It felt unfamiliar to be here without Kiva here to help me. She would have gushed about my face needing little to no touch-up, as I was a natural beauty to her. My lips rose up in a sad smile as I gazed out the window. My thoughts wondered how she was and if she was truly doing okay and wasn't in any form of danger. My attention was shifted from the window to the door when it pulled open and Neith walked in. "Letitia!" she called as she strode into the room, gaining my attention. "What are you doing? You haven't dressed up yet?" she asked in bewilderment, her eyes shifted from me to the table, then back to me with a sigh. "Well," I stuttered, feeling a little bit flustered. I had been so used to Kiva helping me get ready when it comes to occasions like this because I trusted her judgment and how well she knew me, knowing what was right for me to wear and emitting radiance, and now that she was gone, I was a bit lost. "Your mind seemed to be miles away, Letitia," Neith stated, waving her hands across my face. "Oh, sorry," I said, recovering from my reverie. "You looked troubled. What's the matter?" she asked, taking a seat on the bed. "Oh, nothing. Just cracking my head on what to wear for tonight," I replied with a smile on her face, which caused Neith to giggle. I figured it was something of that nature. she said, amused. Don't worry, I already have a dress for you. She added. And I'm here to help you get ready, since you practically turned down the help from your new handmaid. I'm not familiar with her yet and can't bring myself to get comfortable around someone new, I replied, exhaling a deep breath. Okay then. Let's get to it before the guest arrives, Neith stated, getting to her feet as she made her way over to me, standing behind me before she began working on my hair. When she was done with my hair, she had combed through it and styling it to the side. She made her way to my face, working her magic on it. I made sure the powder on my face was minimal. After she was done dolling me up, a knock resonated out of the room, and she walked over to it, pulling it open to take the dress that was wrapped in black clothing from the maid. Neith removed the black clothing, revealing 2 sets of beautiful gowns. Whoa, Neith! I exclaimed. What? Neith asked, chuckling at the look on my face. They are truly beautiful, I gushed in awe. I'm glad you think so. She said. I could tell she was happy that the gowns were beautiful enough to catch my attention. I think the red one will fit you better, though. She held up the red one. Why don't you try it on, she said, stretching out her hand that held the gown to me. Okay, I replied, taking the gown gingerly. Taking a deep breath, I slide into the lush red gown, which flows down my body to the floor. Wow! I heard Neith scream, and I swiveled around to check what was up with her. She had a huge grin plastered on her face as she checked how well the gown melded to my skin like a second body. I didn't know when a smile broke out on my lips, watching her reaction. What do you think? I asked, twirling around, laughing widely now. Perfect enough to catch the attention of those you need to. She mumbles out. He would no doubt be amazed by your beauty, like always. There is no doubt in that, I replied. A smile made its way to my lips as I thought about Darium and what my reaction might be to my appearance and what was to come after the ceremony. Lost in thought again, Letitia, Neith said, snapping me out of my thoughts again, and I smiled. This time your face seemed to be growing crimson red, which means it involves a certain someone. She teased, and I laughed, turning away to hide my blush. ECR Suriev Igri Sarichios Sabo, Fadis Ari Ziri Sivrius Afet Hent. What? I said, not being able to catch what she said since she spoke fast in Nisha. Neith laughs. It's nothing to worry about, she says, and I smile, not bothered about it since she probably complimented me. I don't think you have gotten the chance to see yourself, so why don't you? I nodded, making my way to the mirror. A small, edible gasp left my lips when I saw your face. Neith, I tried saying, but my words failed me. I look so beautiful, I stated. You've always been beautiful. I just highlighted some components because I want you to catch the attention of everyone today, Neith replied, excitement sipping from her voice. Thanks a lot. I said it sincerely, still admiring myself in the mirror. Oh, don't mention it. What are friends for? She stated it happily. And you don't have to worry about your sister. Though I'm still not elated about the fact that she is here, I have decided to take a tiny bit of pity on her and have asked the maid to help get her ready. Thanks, Neith, this means a lot to me. She gave a nod. I will go check on Arsenio and Hasoslava. She says this, giving me a smile before making her way out of the room. I glanced over to the mirror, still awed by how amazing I looked, before making my way to the window and watching as sets of carriages were packed outside the palace, announcing the arrival of the guest. The sound of the door pulling open caused me to glance behind me, and I smiled, catching sight of the man who managed to make my heart skip without having to do anything. He walked over to me with his eyes filled with love and admiration, as if taken in by my appearance. Starting from my red gown to the line in the area of my waist that was embellished with small crystals and sparkling diamonds, my hair was slightly wavy and pinned above my ears with pins that had sparkling crystals, just like my dress, dropping over to my shoulder. You are stunning, he said with desire clouding his eyes. Though I prefer you naked. I rolled my eyes, but I enjoyed the compliment. And I knew that he meant it. Both of those. Darium wraps his arm around my waist, leaning, his lips meeting mine, and I smile against his lips. Happy birthday, I said when we pulled away. Thanks, little bird, he said with a smile, grabbing a hold of my hand, and we both made our way out of the chamber.